Hello, Namaskar, Ram Ram, Pranam. Thank you for joining me in this new episode of Being the Change. Today, even before I begin with the episode, or even before I mention the name or title for this episode, I just want to share some news with you. Actually, it happened in Delhi last year in full public view. A boy brutally injured a girl, 20-year-old girl, which obviously led to her death. I'm talking about Shahbad Dairy murder case, in which that 20-year-old girl was killed. The point I want to mention, or the point which I want to share with you, is that when that particular person was trying to harm that girl, or was beating that girl, or even when for our 20 or 30 times he stabbed that girl, chaku maar diya, our 20, 30 times when he was stabbing her, and at the end when he just slammed her with the help of a cement slab, बहुत बड़ा पत्थर स्टोन टाइप सीमेंट स्लैब कुछ लेकर उसके सर पर मारा उसने. The point is that at the time, that while he was doing all these things, all this nonsense, several people, including boys, girls, adult, grown-up men and women, several people passed across that particular person when he was doing all these things, when he was just killing or harming or attacking that girl. Nobody tried to stop. Nobody. Why? What can be the reason? Even I watched that video last year when I watched that CCTV footage. It just shook me to the core of my soul. I couldn't believe it. At the beginning, just like when he just started to beating that girl, in the initial moment, only one particular boy tried to tried to stop that person. He just tried once or twice, that's it. After that, he ran away. But other than that, nobody even cared. Nobody even cared to stop that person. Several people can be seen in that particular viral video CCTV footage. They were just looking at that and kept walking towards their destination or whatever, wherever they were going. Nobody cared for that innocent soul or that girl. Why? Now, moving on to the second news. It again happened in India last year. This time it happened in Kannauj, UP, if I'm not wrong. There, a 12 or 13-year-old girl, full of blood and all that, brutally injured, probably a rape case. She kept begging for help. She was lying beside the road. I saw a video in which around 8 to 10 people can be seen surrounding her. Most of them just kept recording the plight of that particular girl. Nobody even cared to help her. Why? Is recording that particular incident is of so much importance to us that we don't even think of helping that particular girl or person. After some time, police came, police arrived, and, and one particular police officer helped that girl, took her to the hospital. But the question rises, before that police officer came, what were the public doing at that time? What were the people doing at that time? Now, moving on to the next incident, third case. Again, it happened last year in Delhi, this time in Ujjain, MP, Madhya Pradesh. Again, a 12 or 13-year-old girl in semi-naked position, bleeding, probably again a case of rape and injury and all that. She kept knocking on doors. She kept begging for help, for some aid. Nobody cared to help her. People just saw her and shut their door at her face. Why? In total, she almost walked in that particular condition, begging for help for around 8 kilometers. After that, she fell unconscious around a ashram where a priest helped her. He took care of her. He could inform the police and all that. Now again the question rises, what were all those people thinking when she was knocking at their door and all that? She was begging for help. Weren't they able to see her plight? That semi-naked body, bleeding and all that? Her eyes were swollen. Didn't they care? When the police started investigating that particular incident, and they were going through all those CCTV footage from gathered from that particular area and all that, they came to know and they found that that particular girl kept begging for help, kept going door to door for help for more than 2.5 hours, for around 3 hours. So let's say around 2.5 hours or around 3 hours. Let's take it in minutes, around 150 or 60 minutes, somewhere around that. So even if we assume that 1 मिनट में एक इंसिडेंट एक इंसान कोई मिला होगा या 2-3 मिनट में एटलीस्ट एक इंसान ने तो देखा होगा उसे, so we can understand that at least somewhere around 60, 70, 80 people saw her. No one, not even one single soul helped or offered some help or aid or water to that particular girl. Why? Think yourself. Why? Now, moving on to the next example, last one. Then I'll begin with this topic today. You would have heard about the cricketer Rishabh Pant, सबका favorite. Even I love him watching playing cricket. Right? That GABA test match, India versus Australia. GABA test match hero Rishabh Pant. Right? पता होगा आपको एक एक्सीडेंट हुआ एंड somehow miraculous escape he had. But when that particular incident or accident or mishap happened with him, two particular person were there. Haryana Roadways bus driver and conductor. They were coming from the opposite side, obviously, of the road. And Rishabh Pant's accident just happened in front of their eyes. Without any pause, without any delay, they rushed to help or rescue Rishabh Pant. They pulled Rishabh Pant out of his car. They informed the police. They offered him that blanket to cover him. And they also took some help from the local people over there. So I have talked about 3 or 4 incidences. 3 cases में nobody even cared to help. एक पर्टिकुलर केस में विदाउट एनी डिले उन्होंने हेल्प किया, ऋषभ पंत की जान बचाई. थैंक गॉड टू दैट. सो इन सब केसेस में व्हाट्स द बेसिक डिफरेंस? ओके, प्लीज इनके बारे में सोचिएगा. नाउ लेट्स बिगिन विद टुडेज टॉपिक. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द बायस्टैंडर इफेक्ट. इफ यू आर अ साइकोलॉजी स्टूडेंट, आपने सुना होगा, पढ़ा होगा. इफ यू are in a habit of reading newspaper or going through articles regularly, आपने पढ़ा होगा bystander effect. But if you are new to this term, I'll help you to understand it. It's nothing but a simple term to explain a phenomena. जो मैंने पहले 3 इंसिडेंट और एग्जांपल्स शेयर किए, when not even a single person was ready to offer some help to the victim, that particular incident or case is an apt example of the bystander effect. It just says that the more people are around, or the more people are there witnessing an emergency situation, the less number of chances are there that not even a single person or minimum person will just try and help that particular person. This is known as the bystander effect. Let's understand this. Actually ऐसा क्यों है, ऐसा क्या होता है? पहले 3 एग्जाम्पल में किसी ने कोई हेल्प नहीं किया. ऋषभ पंत केस में उन्होंने हेल्प किया. What was the difference? Right, let's first examine the beliefs that we have about ourselves. I'm damn sure that most of us believe that we are inherently good enough, right? We are inherently good people. We are a pure soul. We are good. सबको यही लगता है, right? But क्या सच में एक्चुअल में ऐसा है? How would you behave in a crisis situation? Let's say इन्हीं 3 एग्जाम्पल में से जहां पर किसी ने कोई हेल्प ऑफर नहीं किया, अगर उनमें से उन पीपल में से हम भी वहां पर होते, हम क्या करते? तब कहां चली जाती हमारी अच्छाई? क्या वो लोग अच्छे नहीं है जिन्होंने हेल्प नहीं किया? राइट? सोचिए. प्रेजेंस ऑफ अदर्स डिस्करेजेस यू टू टेक एनी एक्शन. दिस इज ऑल अबाउट दिस बायस्टैंडर इफेक्ट. और लोग आपके आसपास हैं, आप एक्शन लेना ही नहीं चाहेंगे, ले ही नहीं पाएंगे. There are certain reasons about that. I'll talk about that. और इसको overcome कैसे कर सकते हैं, we will discuss that as well. What's distressing that most of us just assume that we are moral and assertive. But how do we actually behave in our day-to-day life? How do we actually live up to the level of our morality on day-to-day level or day-to-day basis? क्या हमारा जीने का तरीका और सोच बराबर है? हमें लगता है वी assume so that we are good soul, good people. सिर्फ दूसरे ही हमारे साथ बुरा करते हैं. We are always wronged by other people. We do not harm any other person. Right? सिर्फ हमें ही हर्ट करके चला जाता है, हमें हमारा ही मिसयूज करके लोग चले जाते हैं. We assume so, we think so, we believe so. But अपने assumption को टेस्ट करिए. क्या डे टू डे बेसिस पे आप सच में ऐसे हैं, या सिर्फ आपको ऐसा लगता है? सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट दिस बायस्टैंडर इफेक्ट, ये एक्चुअली होता क्यों है? There is a theory around it, and it says that if we talk about kids or children, kids are there in a large number, and they see or they find or they come across around any such emergency situation, there are huge chances that they will together try and have that particular person or overcome that emergency situation. But if they are less in number, if there are only one or two kid is there, less chances are there that they will think of helping. They will just run away from that. That's normal, natural reaction, right? But what happens in the case of so-called adults? This bystander effect says that जितने ज़्यादा लोग होंगे, the more the number of people around that victim or that emergency situation, the less the chances are there that you will offer help. कोई help नहीं करेगा, because there are certain reasons, psychological reasons behind that. First, you just say that, or you can say that it's just natural response to freeze out or of shock. अचानक से ऐसा कुछ देख लिया, शॉक हो जाता है आदमी, फ्रीज हो जाता है. He is not able to comprehend the situation and act immediately, right? And you can say that it's a response to the fear. उसी टाइम पर अचानक से इतना सब कुछ देगा, fear, वो ब्लैंक आउट हो जाता है आदमी, उसे समझ नहीं आता है क्या करना है, हाउ टू रिएक्ट, व्हाट शुड ही डू, नहीं पता होता है. सो एक रीजन तो ये हो सकता है. बट इट्स नेचुरल. We need to understand that it's natural, fine, but we need to overcome this hesitation. Like, एक तो fear की बात की, दूसरा हम बात कर सकते हैं like diffusion of responsibility. जब ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग होते हैं, when a lot of people are there, we just diffuse our responsibility. We are not accountable at that time to help that particular person. We just think इतने सारे लोग हैं, कोई तो help कर ही देगा. Why should I help? Right? Why should I help? Because so many people are around there, कोई तो कर ही देगा. Why should I bother? Right? Diffusion of responsibility. You just diffuse your responsibility to act, to take action, to help that particular person. This is that one particular point. First one was natural response, that fear or like shock wave that just freezes you. Right? Second one is this diffusion of responsibility. Third one, you can say that social influence is there. उस टाइम पर जो वहाँ का एनवायरनमेंट बना हुआ है, या जो द वे आपकी अपब्रिंगिंग हुई है, राइट, या आपका अंडरस्टैंडिंग हर चीज़ का सोसाइटी से रिलेटेड क्या कहता है उस समय पर, वो सब भी मैटर करता है. देन इवैल्यूएशन एप्रीहेंशन, इसको क्या कहते हैं? आई कैन से इट इन सिंपल टर्म्स दैट जजमेंट. You just fear that I don't know people कैसे judge करेंगे मुझे. If I act, if I try to help that particular person, people might judge me in a negative way. You just start evaluating yourself. Why? Judge करें ना करें क्या फर्क पड़ता है? And one thing is also there that you can say it is a pluralistic ignorance. In this, we believe that it's not an emergency situation. We believe so that it's not an emergency situation because so many people are there and they are just moving away from there, or they are just standing, they are not helping that person, they are not doing anything. So why should I? Because we believe so that इतने लोग कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं तो emergency होगी ही नहीं. Maybe it's just me that who is overreacting or over analyzing this thing, और सिर्फ मुझे ही लग रहा है कि कुछ क्रिटिकल हो रहा है, बट ऐसा नहीं है. ऐसा होता तो कोई तो कुछ करता, राइट? इग्नोरेंस. सो हमने कुछ चीज़ों की बात कर ली कि ऐसा हम करते क्यों हैं. इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट कि हम अच्छे नहीं हैं या बहुत बुरे हैं या हम हेल्प नहीं करना चाहते, बट ये कुछ चीज़ें हैं साइकोलॉजिकली हमें समझने की ज़रूरत है. हम समझेंगे चीज़ों को तभी उस चीज़ को हम ओवरकम करने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं, राइट? ओनली इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड द बेसिक न्यूएंसेस ऑफ द this particular aspect or this particular like bystander effect, only then we will be able to overcome that, or then we will be able to make some positive changes in our society, or to help some particular person. Or even if, like, let's say, if, if someday you are in that particular situation or position of that victim, आपको ही हेल्प की जरूरत है, you are shouting, you are begging for help, but सब पास से गुजर जाएंगे. Think about that. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए ना, right? So let me tell you one thing. If you, by any chance, if you or your loved one in that particular situation, you are that victim, you can do one thing. When you are facing that particular attack or that particular situation, or when you are trying to, like, you, when you are begging for help and all that, when you want somebody to help you and there are so many people around there, just look into the eye of one particular person. सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर इंसान की आंखों में आंखें डाल के देखिए, and directly ask him or her for help. I'm not saying it will definitely work, but at least you will have some chances. Because जब हम किसी से डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट कर लेंगे ना, और उससे डायरेक्टली हम हेल्प मांगेंगे, उसके अंदर से आवाज आएगी, यू हैव टू डू समथिंग. तेरी तरफ देखकर बोल रहा है ये, राइट? अंदर से कुछ आएगा, उसका जो हेजिटेशन थोड़ा सा कम होगा, ही विल थिंक ऑफ टेकिंग सम एक्शन. एटलीस्ट वो कुछ नहीं करेगा, पुलिस को ही कॉल कर देगा, राइट? सो यू कैन डू दिस थिंग. अगर कभी भगवान अगर ऐसा हो, इफ यू आर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन, if you want some help, somebody to help you, just look into just directly look into the eyes of that particular person and just ask him for help. सबकी तरफ इधर उधर नहीं करना है, सिर्फ एक पर्टिकुलर पर्सन को पकड़ो, उसको बोलो, he will do that. नहीं करता है, after some time again repeat it with somebody else, directly look into the eyes and ask him for help. Okay, now on regular basis, if I talk about that, over on a group, I can say, how can we improve as a group, as a society? How can we overcome this particular condition, or this so-called bystander effect? In case of educational institutions, at school level or college level, we can develop some skills. We can have, like, imbibe some qualities in our students at that particular age, so that when they are when they become the part of that so-called society, they can become, or they can play the part of an active bystander. Passive bystander बन के ना रह जाए. So they can take that initiative, they can take that lead to offer that particular helping hand to that person or that victim, right? We can start inculcating those qualities at that educational level, at school level or college level. Several things can be done to imbibe those qualities in those particular students, like compassion, sympathy, empathy, right? These qualities can be inculcated in them at that particular age. So many techniques are there, so many skits can be played, or so many speech therapy and all that. This can be done. Now, if I talk about that, like, at particular individual level, how can you improve? How can you help other person to improve or overcome this hesitation? Obviously, अचानक से नहीं होगा. We can do one thing, that make it a promise to yourself and try on regular basis. Make it a promise to yourself and try it on regular basis, that you have to be the first person. Whenever you face this type of situation, or in future, whenever you face this type of situation, you have to be that particular person. Just believe or assume or think that only you are the one. You are the sole responsible person at that particular position or like situation that you have to act. Believe it as like you are the only person. सिर्फ तुम्हें ही करना है जो करना है. Don't think about others. And even if you assume that only you are the only person who is present there, चाहे 100 लोग प्रेजेंट हैं, बट अगर आप ये मान लेंगे कि सिर्फ मैं ही प्रेजेंट हूँ, बाकी कोई मुझे देख भी नहीं रहा है, जस्ट एक्ट. नाउ द क्वेश्चन राइजेस कि एक्ट कैसे करें? हो सकता है वो मुझे हार्म कर देगा, राइट? हो सकता है. एंड दिस इज ऑल्सो दैट fear response. इसी वजह से भी लोग रिएक्ट नहीं करते हैं समटाइम. बट ट्रस्ट मी वन थिंग, दैट trust me on this particular one thing, that just by shouting that hello, what's going on, or I have just informed the police are coming, or help आ रही है, कुछ भी just shout करेंगे ना आप, एटलीस्ट 50-60% काम तो वहीं कर दिया है आपने. That particular person will stop, will hesitate, कुछ लैप्स होगा कंसंट्रेशन में, राइट. यू कैन डू सेकंड थिंग, डिस्ट्रैक्ट दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन. डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं उसको किसी भी तरीके से, बाय वे ऑफ योर टॉकिंग और योर एक्शंस एंड ऑल दैट, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. डिस्ट्रैक्ट दैट पर्सन डायरेक्टली. इफ यू थिंक यू कैन नॉट टैकल, distract or just shout, right? The point is that when you will take initiative, when you will take action, when you will become that one first person who is there to offer help, chances are there that more people will be around you to offer help. And now it doesn't matter that सामने वाला person कितना strong है या उसके पास क्या weapon है. If people are with you, you can tackle that person, right? If I share one example, one personal example from my life, it's not actually this that much suitable to this particular situation, but I just want to share this example so that you can understand that just by taking initiative, how can you like invite other people to help you. Once I was there near Delhi University area, and at one particular metro station it happened. I was standing there. I was waiting for that auto, and red light हो रखा था. Somebody came from the wrong side first. He came from the wrong side. He was driving his car, and second, he didn't care for that red light or signal. Signal तोड़ के आ गया. Third thing, at that time, one particular person, an old one, maybe around his 50s, he was crossing over that road, and he was riding his bicycle. कार वाले ने साइकिल वाले को टक्कर मारी. ज्यादा चोट नहीं लगी. वो अंकल साइकिल से गिर गए, गरीब थे, थोड़ा सा उठे, सब्जी थी, कुछ टमाटर और कुछ सब्जी, गाजर वागर, उन्होंने उठाया, पॉलिथीन में डाला, साइकिल लेके चलना स्टार्ट किया. At that particular time, around 20, 25, 30 people were there, including me. I was standing there. I was looking at this particular incident. It just happened in front of me. Nobody said even one single thing to that driver. After 5, 6, 7 seconds, जब तक अंकल उठे, अपनी साइकिल हटाई, सब्जी ली, वो गाड़ी के सामने से निकलने लगे. Again, that driver just ignited the engine and tried to run away from that particular incident, that particular place. And in that scenario, he again hit that bicycle for the second time. उनकी साइकिल गाड़ी के आगे से पूरी हटी नहीं थी. अंकल ने पूरा क्रॉस नहीं किया था. उसने इतनी देर में दोबारा से साइकिल को टक्कर मार दे कि निकलने की कोशिश में. Obviously this time it was, obviously दोनों टाइम उन्होंने इंटेंशनली नहीं हिट किया, बट स्टिल उसमें इतना पेशेंस नहीं था. सेकंड टाइम उसने हिट किया और अंकल की साइकिल फिर से गिर गई. अंकल नहीं गिरे. एंड दैट ड्राइवर स्टार्टेड शाउटिंग एट दैट पर्टिकुलर अंकल, क्या कर रहा है, हट नहीं सकता है, एंड ऑल दैट. एट दिस पर्टिकुलर टाइम आई लॉस्ट माई पेशेंस. अंकल बिल्कुल मेरे साथ में थे, सामने थे, एंड आई जस्ट went to that driver और उसके सामने आ गया. And he started shouting at me, move aside, and ऊपर चढ़ा दूँ and all that. I just said, you have to stop here and come out. We need to talk. I was just telling him that अंकल की साइकिल आपने 2 बार टक्कर मार दी, आपको इतना भी पेशेंस नहीं है. And it just took me 4-5 seconds of discussing or that asking him to come out or to see the situation of that bicycle. In that particular moment or in those 4 5 seconds, around 30 people came for my help, and they all started abusing and accusing that particular driver. By God's grace, thank you, वो बाहर नहीं आया, अदरवाइज शायद कुछ और बात बिगड़ सकती थी, लोग उसकी पिटाई भी कर सकते. But then he just said sorry and he moved. So think of this one particular incident. मैंने क्या किया? कुछ नहीं किया, सिर्फ एक इनिशिएटिव और सब मेरी हेल्प के लिए आ गए. बट जब तक मैंने कुछ नहीं किया था, एवरीबडी वाज जस्ट लुकिंग एट दैट पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट. You can be that one particular person, right? So you have to try and imbibe these qualities of compassion, empathy, right? And try to be an active bystander. Don't be a passive bystander at all, right? And don't expect others to offer help. Don't expect others to offer help. Just be the first one. Be the leader. You have to offer help. Believe in yourself, right? You can do anything that you want. जो भी आपको इजी लगता है, पुलिस को कॉल करना है, शाउट करना है, उसको डिस्ट्रैक्ट करना है, do anything that you can. Try your best. Do your best. Within a fraction of 5-10 seconds, situation will be handled, right? People will be there to help you. So think of this. Be the first one to act, right? Take initiative, be the leader, believe in your abilities, and try several other techniques, right? And if you are in this profession of helping or teaching or guiding someone, or particularly students, उन्हें सिखाइए, अभी से सिखाइए, because they will be the part of this society in future. Right now they are part of the society, but when they will be in their like career profession, job profession and all that, they will be able to offer much more to us, to this nation, to this society, right? So we can begin with that. And at particular individual level, you can also try and imbibe these qualities in you. So that was it. Please think about it. Please share it with others. If you think उनको कुछ हेल्प मिलेगा, कुछ समझने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं. ऐसा क्यों होता है, लोग चले जाते हैं, हेल्प नहीं करते हैं, इतना डरिए मत, राइट? बहुत तरीके होते हैं. आप कैसे हैं, आपकी सोच कैसी है, उसको कुछ इम्प्रूव करना है, डू ऑल दोस थिंग्स, राइट? अपने लिए ना सही, अपने परिवार के लिए. क्या पता कब उनको ऐसे सिचुएशन में भगवान लाके खड़ा कर दे, राइट? क्या पता आप कब खुद ऐसे सिचुएशन में आ जाएंगे, राइट? So think of this society, think of your family, friends, society, nation as a whole, right? So thank you for joining me again on this episode of this like bystander effect. Try to understand it, try to overcome it, don't hesitate, right? Put or take that particular initiative, take action. So see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining me. Thank you once again.